The current load shedding exercise by Skelec is expected to continue for about a month, disclosed Skelec General Manager Clement Jomo Williams. However, Mr. Williams told SK Newsline on Tuesday that some progress was being made that will reduce the load shedding times during the course of the month.
From since Saturday, the team at the power plant have been working assiduously in trying to make minor and major repairs to some of the generators as much as possible. I can say the situation has improved tremendously between Saturday, where we only had 20 megawatts available. Now, today, as we speak, we have about 23 megawatts that's available. So that will significantly, as I said earlier, reduce the amount of time needed to load shed. The overall window for the completion of the load shedding is still at 1 month, but the situation has improved tremendously, and we are hoping to see even a slight improvement by the end of the week, as we would have some items flown in from Miami to assist with the repair of one of the other containerized standby units.
Mr. Williams explained the reason for the load shedding.
On Saturday, we had a failure on the G4 alternator. G4 is one of the 9 fixed generators at the power station and has a capacity of 3.5 megawatts. Now, we have been operating at the power station for some time at diminished capacity, and losing G4 simply just took us over the threshold to supply the demand of 26 megawatts. Typically, our power station has a capacity of about 48 megawatts. Now, the plant is designed such that if we lose 2 of our larger sets with a combined load of 9 megawatts, we would still be able to run efficiently. We're in a position now where we have lost about 4 units. So we have G1 with 5 megawatts, G9, which is out on maintenance at 3 megawatts, G4, which is the one we lost on Saturday, with 3.5 megawatts. And we have a few of the containerized units that were down for repair. So that would put us in a position, instead of N-2, where we would be able to operate, we are at about N-4. So on Saturday, the available capacity was only about 20 megawatts, which you can see is significantly less than half the rated plant capacity.
Meanwhile, the Skelec General Manager gave some tips to customers to cope during the load shedding period.
The advice I can give to the general public is just to be understanding. Now, we're not in this position because we want to be in this position. For whatever reason we are here, we have to work through it together. What we want persons to understand, we here at Skelec are consumers also. So when we leave our jobs and go home, we too have to experience the load shedding. Now, we want persons to be aware that the situation is fluid, and the electricity can go for longer or shorter periods, and as such, you have to protect your devices at all times. Use surge protectors. If you can, turn off your main switch. Have a flashlight handy, especially at night times. If you do have backup batteries, make sure that they're powered up while you have electricity, and if possible, put a data plan on your phone so that you don't have, of course, no electricity, no Wi-Fi. You still want to be able to be in communication with your friends, family, and also to check all the Skelec sources, our Facebook page, our website, for all the current information.
Skelec, in a statement, said it apologizes for any inconvenience caused and thanks its customers who have been without power for their patience. For more information regarding the outage schedule or to report any other fault, customers are asked to call Skelec's emergency hotline at 465-2013. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.
As new Minister of Education, Dr. Jeffrey Hanley addressed the nation ahead of the 5th September start of the 2022-2023 academic school year, he confirmed several changes in personnel in the education system. The Minister of Education thanked outgoing Permanent Secretary William Vincent Hodge for his contribution to the advancement of education in the country. Dr. Hanley said the government was extremely grateful and valued his contribution made over the past 6 years. Dr. Hanley also announced several changes in the personnel.
I am pleased to announce our new Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Mrs. Lisa Romaine Archibald Pistano. She has worked within the field of education for over 19 years, during which time she served as a teacher, principal, education officer, and deputy chief education officer. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to the post. Changes also occurred at the school level, and they are as follows. Mrs. Jamila Bristol Brown is the new head teacher of the Beach Island Primary School. Mr. Javon Cannonier has assumed the post of deputy head teacher at the Keyon Primary School. Miss Yulukia Bryan has accepted the post of deputy head teacher at the Dateby Primary School. Congratulations all. I am confident that these leaders are both qualified and capable to lead on the implementation of the ministry's goals by working collaboratively with their colleagues in the education fraternity, civic society, NGOs, or regional and international partners.
Using the theme, "Excellence is not a skill, it is an attitude," Minister Hanley committed to increasing the number of teaching assistants, improving the professional development model, as well as incorporating more TVET courses. Addressing the Bastille High School infrastructure issue is on the agenda for this academic year, Hanley indicated. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Smart and Island Electronics brings to you the Super Summer Coolong Sale from July 21st until October 30th. Get amazing discounts on the widest range of gadgets, electronics, and appliances. But because it's summer, you get double discounts on all fans, refrigerators, and air conditioners. And don't forget to ask about our easy layaway plans. Good news for the people of Neves. Smart Electronics is coming to Neves at a convenient location just opposite Best Buy. So visit our stores at Smart Electronics on Port Zonte and Island Electronics on Ford Street. Terms and conditions apply. Our COVID-19 protocols will be observed.
Your vehicle is very important to you. That's why you should ensure it gets the best service and care possible only at IAS Diagnostic Center, located at Bird Rock behind the Life Fitness Center gym. Come to IAS Diagnostic Center for wheel alignment, rotor cutting, AC servicing, wheel balancing, oil filter change, diagnostic, tire repair and sale, tinting, and much more. With top-of-the-line equipment, come to IAS Diagnostic Center in Bird Rock. Opening hours Monday to Friday 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 767-4422, 662-4416 or 466-6708. IAS Diagnostic Center for quality care of your vehicle.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Attorney General Garth Wilkins said the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force will be instructed to comply with the current cannabis laws and the constitutional rights of persons regarding personal use of marijuana. Attorney General Wilkins was a guest on the 31st August Island Tea, a program aired on Win Media SKN, where he referenced the Ras Sankofa case and its outcome. Ras Sankofa Maccabee challenged the Commissioner of Police and the Attorney General in a constitutional case after being arrested in October 2012 and later found guilty for possession and cultivation. Ras Sankofa appealed the case and won on the grounds that his rights under the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis were contravened by the police. Yet the matter of marijuana use for personal and religious purposes have remained unclear given certain police actions. The Attorney General was clear, however, of the needed course of action.
General use, which the court found a few years ago in the Ras Sankofa case. Right. Recognize the religion of Rastafarianism, recognize the person's individual private right to smoke weed in the privacy of their own home and to grow, to cultivate in the privacy. We are going to ensure that the police, this is the last one, we're going to instruct the Royal St. Kitts and Nevis Police Force this week that they are to respect the current cannabis-related laws and the constitutional rights declared in that case. Because there's been a lot of debate. Persons have come to me and saying, we want the police to enforce what the law currently is. And that's all I'm going to say. Because just to give you a summary of the Ras Sankofa case, there was a challenge to the possession and cultivation of marijuana. And some other personal matters related to the actual applicant. But what the court decided in relation to cultivation and possession is that blanket criminal provision for possession and a blanket criminal provision for cultivation is unconstitutional. So the laws, the court gave the legislature an opportunity to rectify that, to bring the criminal provisions in compliance with the Constitution. That was partially done. But I can't say any more on that because I don't want any cases to be flooding the chambers. But we're going to inform the police force, and this was a decision from Cabinet, that they need to enforce what the law is. So there will be no uprooting of trees in backyards from this week onwards.
The Attorney General also referenced the intention to expunge the criminal records of persons convicted in the past of minor marijuana-related offences, indicating that the process will be done properly. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
Residents of East Bastyr got a welcome boost as former Member of Parliament and UN Ambassador Ian Liburd hosted his annual Ministry of Giving back-to-school giveaway program just off George Street in Newtown on Saturday. People from all over the community and other communities receive free school bags and stationery items just in time for back to school. Mr. Liburd spoke to SK Newsline about the activity.
It's one of my usual give-backs as part of my Ministry of Giving, which has been ongoing for many years. And I thought it is very important to continue it today, especially in light of what's going on in the country. I mean, it's post-COVID, people are still out of jobs. I mean, no matter what the government or whomever may do about 2 VAT days or VAT days until September 30th, let's look at it. If you take off the VAT, the bag might cost $50. So we are the parents or the guardians going to find $50 when they're not working. So it's in that context I thought of really giving back some school bags and some school supplies at this particular time, because school starts, I think, on Wednesday. And in the process, I've also considered giving some food stuff to the parents who have to feed themselves and feed their children. So it's all an exercise that I'm also an exercise in giving back. And the community here in which I was born, in which I was raised, in which I still live, this community made me, so I'm giving back to the community. That's in a nutshell.
And it's mainly for people in the community, or do you also have people from outside who come in as well?
Well, we say people from the community, but we don't discriminate because everybody comes. You can see people from as way as Sandy Point. You can see people from St. Peter's, all over. And I have told them in the past, and I'll tell them now, Do not discriminate, even though they're not from the community. Give them.
A couple of patrons thanked Mr. Liebert for the gesture.
I'm here by Patty's go beg some book.
You get through?
Yes, I get to. Yeah, but some of them wet, but I enjoy them.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks, Patches.
Andre Huey, SKN Newsline. Your vehicle is very important to you. That's why you should ensure it gets the best service and care possible only at IAS Diagnostic Center, located at Bird Rock behind the Life Fitness Center gym. Come to IAS Diagnostic Center for wheel alignment, rotor cutting, AC servicing, wheel balancing, oil filter change, diagnostic, tire repair and sale, tinting, and much more. With top-of-the-line equipment, come to IAS Diagnostic Center in Bird Rock. Opening hours Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Call 767-4422, 662-4416, or 466-6708. IAS Diagnostic Center for quality care of your vehicle.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs. Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
Can you believe all the ings we can fit under one roof? We're here to help your small business any way we can.
Smart and Island Electronics brings to you the Super Summer Cool-On Sale from July 21st until October 30th. Get amazing discounts on the widest range of gadgets, electronics, and appliances. But because it's summer, you get double discounts on all fans, refrigerators, and air conditioners. And don't forget to ask about our easy layaway plans. Good news for the people of Neves. Smart Electronics is coming to Neves at a convenient location just opposite Best Buy. So visit our stores at Smart Electronics on Port Zonte and Island Electronics on 4th Street. Terms and conditions apply. Our COVID-19 protocols will be observed.
Ministry of Education says teacher attendance on Monday stood at 27% in primary schools and 31% in secondary schools. And according to its data, it said 17% of students were present at primary schools, with 39% of students at secondary schools. The data from the ministry comes as many teachers were swayed by tutor on its call for a day of rest and reflection. Education Minister Dr. Nian Gadsby-Dolly said Monday was a historic day with the return of physical classes for the new academic year since 2019 and hopes all stakeholders will work together for the students. The minister added that both students and teachers need to make up for lost time.
Today, that they didn't have school or they didn't have all of their teachers out of school, and I know that everyone is looking forward to getting on with the business of school as we continue tomorrow. My message to all teachers, parents and students is that we have reached the point of physical school. We are very happy as a country to have done that, and we're really looking forward to all of us supporting each other as we move forward. We have a lot of work to do.
The minister added that both students and teachers need to make up for lost time.
Extremely critical for the future of our country. Losing 2 years of physical school, I don't think any country can really quantify the effect on students. And of course, there are students who will be more affected than others. So that's why the collaboration is between all stakeholders is extremely critical at this time.
Dr. Gadsby-Dolly said there are still schools undergoing infrastructural work, but noted that those works will continue after school and over the weekend to ensure classes continue as normal. And students across the country dressed in their school uniforms and headed back to the classrooms today, but many were forced to return home early as their teachers failed to turn up for duty. Reports from parents were that at the primary school level, many parents and guardians were asked to collect their children early as there was little to no supervision. At other institutions, parents were advised by administrators to keep their children at home in anticipation of the response to the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association's call for a day of rest and reflection. The union called on its members to stay away from work to highlight the dissatisfaction with the chief personnel officer's offer of 4% salary increase to public sector workers. And in Tobago, the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association tutor says approximately 80% of its members supported the call to stay away.
For some students, school was dismissed at lunch break, while others showed up at the school gate only to be informed that there was no school.
I'm disappointed because they could have messaged, they could have said don't have no school, children excited to go to school this morning. All they could have done is say no school today. Parents would not have a problem.
Another mother indicated her daughter was excited for her first day of primary school.
Disappointed. First time, first day of school, I'm disappointed.
Based on the data provided by Secretary for Education, Research and Technology Zorisha Hackett, there were 3 primary schools where no teachers reported for work. All secondary schools which were opened on Monday had teacher representation, though to a significantly lesser degree. At the Harmons SDA school, 87.5% of the teachers showed up for work, the highest in Tobago. Caricia Douglas for TTT News.
And a slight improvement and decline is being reported by the Ministry of Education in the number of students attaining passes in both CSEC and CAPE exams. It says in 2022, 94.34% of those who wrote CAPE subjects achieved acceptable passes, grades 1 to 5, compared to just below 94% in 2021. It added that those who attained grades 1, 2 and 3 in 2022 amounted to 70.78% compared to 72.84% in 2021. Meanwhile, in CSEC, the ministry said passing grades 1, 2 and 3 were obtained in 62.72% of subject entries, compared with 65.26% in 2021. It added that there was a slight decrease in the number of students being successful in 5 subjects or more, and it said 43.66% of students who attempted 5 or more subjects, including maths and English, were successful, a decline from the 2021 figure of 46.5%.
But there's much concern about how the war in Ukraine has affected global supply chain logistics. It's an issue our African counterparts think they can address, particularly in the area of agriculture, through closer relations with Barbados. Guinea's Minister of Agriculture and Livestock, Mamoudou Nagnalen Barry, has proposed, for example, sourcing pesticides and other products from Barbados.
We don't need to start big. I was just thinking about how I can get my next fertilizer from Barbados, how I can get pesticide from Barbados. Instead of importing from China, I can just come to Barbados. How can I bring my potatoes that I produce a lot in Guinea? Last week, I have producers who lost about $500,000 in potato because the local market is small, they cannot export it. How can I exchange this potato against pesticide in Barbados, for instance?
Meanwhile, one of the exhibitors, CarryGrow, an agri-consultant business, is already working with clients in Africa. We spoke to director Damien Bowen.
We actually have clients in Ghana, clients in Barbados and St. Vincent, and we have created the connection. We are the eHarmony of trade. The focus is definitely around agriculture and agri-products. In fact, one of our mandates is to contribute towards the food security concerns and objectives outlined across the region.
And the private sector is a key player in the 25 by 25 drive, according to Dr. Patrick Antoine, Chief Executive Officer and Technical Director of the CARICOM Private Sector Organization.
Now we're focusing on agriculture in the context of the 25 by 25 program initiative to reduce food imports by 25% by 2025. And secondly, importantly, where we're building out an industrial policy in CARICOM that the treaty is spoken about, but which up to this point hasn't been done, led by President Santoki. The coming together of all of these, the confluence of all of these things at the same time, I think really has to mean something for our community. But what it does mean for our community most of all is hard work.
Most of the participants agree once the hindrances of logistics and other transportation issues are resolved, agriculture between Africa and the Caribbean will truly create the circular economy they're looking for. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Chilean President Gabriel Boric summoned his cabinet the morning after the stunning defeat of a new draft constitution in a referendum that also clearly reflected strong disapproval in his government's performance. Those who'd placed their hopes in the new charter put on a brave face.
It was a very progressive constitution in terms of the environment, women's rights. So waking up to this is hard.
The constitutional process had been fraught with sectarianism and charges that radicals were trying to recreate Chile rather than improve it with social reforms. Former center-left delegate Felipe Jarboe says extremists went too far.
We pointed out that the text had multiple errors, that it was based on a wrong diagnosis of what Chile wanted, but they wouldn't listen.
Many lament that the attempt to write a progressive constitution was a squandered opportunity. But all is not lost.
If the president proposes a path of unity, we will go for it. He and Congress must propose a quick and more simple process to start again.
Monday morning, Boric met with leaders of both houses who promised to do just that.
We must learn the lessons from what's happened, and above all, respect the mandate that we were given by our citizens to write a new constitution.
Those who promoted what many had hoped would be a model constitution for the 21st century can take comfort in one thing. And that is that the vast majority of Chileans supported and still want much of what the text proposed. Social rights like health, education, and pensions, environmental protection, and gender equality. What's not so clear is how soon and under what conditions Chileans will go back to the drawing board. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera, Santiago.
Rishi Sunak, 60,399.
Liz Truss 81,326. Therefore, I give notice that Liz Truss is elected as the leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. We'll come up on stage.
The result had been widely predicted, but it's no less significant given the candidates' differing approaches on the economy and helping people facing huge rises in energy bills. Liz Truss addressed those issues, but only after a tribute to the man she replaces as Prime Minister on Tuesday.
Boris, you got Brexit done. You crushed Jeremy Corbyn. You rolled out the vaccine and you stood up to Vladimir Putin. You were admired from Kiev to Carlisle.
Rishi Sunak resigned along with dozens of Conservative MPs, accelerating Boris Johnson's departure. He's now urged Tories to unite behind his former cabinet colleague, but she knows winning back public trust will be a big challenge. After such a long selection process, the urgency for the new Prime Minister to tell the public exactly what steps they'll be taking over the cost of living crisis is clear, and Liz Truss can't have failed to realise that.
A lot of the work, I think, has been done, and I think the team are aware that once you transition from campaigning to government, this is the top question on people's minds, and people will expect to hear clear and comprehensive answers, and I think we'll get that later this week.
I will deliver on the energy crisis, dealing with people's energy bills, but also dealing with the long-term issues we have on energy supply.
After previously focusing on tax cuts, Truss is reportedly considering a freeze on energy bills, something the opposition Labour Party has called for.
There's a political consensus that needs to happen. She needs to answer the question, how is she going to pay for that? Labour have been clear, it needs to be a windfall tax on oil and gas companies. So she needs to show that she actually understands and can meet the challenges that are there after 12 years of failure of this Tory government.
And we will deliver a great victory for the Conservative Party in 2024. Thank you.
So no shortage of immense challenges. So immense, in fact, that some predict another leadership challenge before the next election is due in 2 years' time. Nadeem Barber, Al Jazeera, London.
The SKN Newsline WCPL Daily Roundup is brought to you by Smart Electronics.
Smart and Island Electronics brings to you the Super Summer Cool-On Sale from July 21st until October 30th. Get amazing discounts on the widest range of gadgets, electronics and appliances. But because it's summer, you get double discounts on hall fans, refrigerators and air conditioners. And don't forget to ask about our easy layaway plans. Good news for the people of Neves. Smart Electronics is coming to Neves at a convenient location just opposite Best Buy. So visit our stores at Smart Electronics on Port Zonte and Island Electronics on Ford Street. Terms and conditions apply. Our COVID-19 protocols will be observed.
We have just seen the completion of one of the most exciting matches there were in this tournament, the female CPL T20. Actually, it is a historic moment for St. Kitts and Nevis and a historic moment also for the tournament, because it's the first time in the history of CPL that there is a women's tournament. This time around, we have the completion of a tournament that has been won by the Trinbagos Knight Riders against the Barbados Royals. And it was quite an exciting match. The crowd, although not as very large as normal, was also into the game, very excited. And in a short while, we shall see some of the presentations that will take place between these two teams right here in the media center at Warner Park as the rain falls on the outside.
100. We would have hoped that we could have chased it a bit more convincingly. But at the same time, I think the team's going to learn a lot from it. Obviously, well, hopefully there's going to be another women's CPL next year, and so many West Indies women's players involved in the tournament. I think it's not only going to help us at this level, but help us at the international level as well. So hopefully a lot of learning has been taking place this tournament, and we can put it to use when we go to the next level.
What have you learned specifically about this and the standard of regional cricket?
I think it's quite clear that there needs to be some form of improvement, but I think that's only going to come with more cricket matches being played, and tournaments like this are perfect for that. So yeah, hopefully next year we can get more games being played, a bigger CPL, a bigger 60, and a bigger regional tournament as well.
Okay, and finally, before we let you go, the West Indies have series coming up. How is this laying the foundation and practice session for you guys to actually be able to go forward to that series?
Yeah, it's going to be crucial. It's obviously giving the girls a bunch of cricket to be able to go out there and play on a bunch of different wickets as well. So yeah, it's just a really good opportunity to get in some really good match practice before we do play the series against New Zealand.
Thanks. It was a really good win for us. You know, we lost to 60, so couldn't let it happen twice. But I love how the girls play. I'm very proud of the girls, you know, leading from the front in terms of scoring a half century and staying there to have a decent total on the board for us to defend, and we ended up on top.
What did you guys learn from this tournament?
To be honest, what we learned from this tournament is you have more time than you think. I think occupying the crease long and getting in, you know what I mean, and getting runs on the board is very important as well.
Tell me about the general tournament itself. What were the major challenges that you encountered as a team on the field of play?
I don't think there were any major challenges. Playing games back to back, it might have been a bit of a challenge, but I think it's very good for women's cricket in the Caribbean. You know, is basically history. So I don't think it was a bit of a challenge though.
Do you think that there are enough tournaments or enough women's cricket being played in the region?
I don't think so, but I think it's heading in the right direction to have enough cricket playing in the region.
Okay, this is more professional type tournament. You know, we have the limited overs and all of that you guys play, but to have a professional tournament and the way you see the women perform, what does it say about the standard of cricket in general across the region for women?
To be honest, experiencing this tournament and playing in it, I think, the standard is not where it should be, but I think it's getting where it's supposed to be. So if the girls continue to work hard, knowing that this tournament is coming around next year and everybody want to be involved or want to be picked in some team to play, so I think it's heading in the right direction.
Okay, and finally from me, when we look at you've been playing cricket around the world and compare those to what you guys saw here today in the St. Kitts and Nevis when it comes to the condition and the standard in general, when you compare those to what you played here?
To be honest, I don't think we can actually compare it because they have better facilities than in the Caribbean, you know. So I think that if we keep focused and work hard towards getting to their standard, then it will be good.
Apart from actually winning the match, was there a point in the game that you said, okay, we really have a chance at doing this thing and winning it?
To be honest, I think that once we get I think that once we got 100 plus on the board, it was a defendable total to how the pitch was playing. The spinners were getting some grip, some bounce and turn. So I knew that once we have scoreboard pressure and we get quick wickets, then they will crumble.
What's next for Deandra after this tournament?
Well, I'm actually heading back to England to play in for Lancashire in the county cricket, 50 over.
Thank you. And we have just had some conversations with the captains of both teams, the captains of the Trinbago Knight Rider and the captain of the Barbados Royal. And as you can see, they were very, very enthusiastic about the tournament. The Royals were a bit disappointed, of course, in losing the match, but unfortunately for them, the Trinbago Knight Riders are walking away smiling tonight here at Warner Park. This is Glenn Bart for SK Newsline.
The daily CPL Roundup by SK Newsline is brought to you by Smart Electronics.
Smart and Island Electronics brings to you the Super Summer Kulong Sale from July 21st until October 30th. Get amazing discounts on the widest range of gadgets, electronics and appliances. But because it's summer, you get double discounts on hall fans, refrigerators and air conditioners. And don't forget to ask about our easy layaway plans. Good news for the people of Neves. Smart Electronics is coming to Neves at a convenient location just opposite Best Buy. So visit our stores at Smart Electronics on Port Zonte and Island Electronics on Ford Street. Terms and conditions apply. All COVID-19 protocols will be observed.
The Barbados Royals made it 2 wins from 2 with a comfortable Duckworth-Lewis system victory over the St. Lucia Kings in Game 6 of the Hero Caribbean Premier League. The Kings won the toss and opted to field first, hoping to take advantage of the effects of the inclement weather. However, the decision backfired somewhat as Kyle Mayers and Rakeem Cornwall once again got off to a flyer in the power play. The King managed to slow the innings down in the middle and back end with wickets at regular intervals, but that did not stop the Royals posting a very challenging 162 for 7. In reply, the Kings' chase was almost over before it began, with Mayers removing the top order with a 2-over spell of 4 wickets for 4 runs. Rain threatened to end the match with a no result, but DLS reset the total to 103 to win from 9 overs. Faf du Plessis and Alzari Joseph took the game down to the last over, but ultimately fell short, with the asking rate proving too much. The scores: Barbados Royals 162 for 7, St. Lucia Kings 91 for 4, winning by 11 runs via Duckworth-Lewis method.
I mean, we start late. Obviously, with the weather around, you would get some delays, and it's always a tricky situation. But I thought the guys stayed focused. Getting put into bat first, I thought we did well. Most teams that get put into bat first in the morning, tend to be a little reserve. I thought me and Jim, we went out there positive and we gave the team a great start, although we faltered in the end. I thought that 160 was a good score. And then obviously the rain, the clouds around, when we went to bowl, so I just utilized the conditions with the new ball. The ball did a lot. I just put the ball in the right areas and it worked out nicely for us.
What was the conditions this morning versus the conditions this afternoon?
Well, to be honest, I thought the pitch turned out to be a decent pitch. As you can see, the Kings came back nicely after the rain. I thought that they chased down the target very well. Kudos to our bowlers for doing well. But this morning, obviously, we got a great start. As I say, we stayed positive. It was a bit sticky, but not as bad as I was watching from the other games. I thought that the wicket was not as bad, maybe because of the delay. More sun on the wicket, more time for the wicket to dry out. It wasn't as bad, but it got better in the end.
Were you concerned at any point in time in the chase when you guys came out that the Kings would have probably get to the target?
I mean, the Duckworth-Lewis played straight in their hand. Brought the game back into their favour. I thought that if there was no rain delay, I thought we would have been comfortable. But nevertheless, I thought that a good batsman in Faf, you have to be very careful. And I just thought that we just needed a few good dot balls, a good over or two, and we would have closed out nicely, and I thought that we did it nice.
How would you sum up your performance in St. Kitts as you head down to St. Lucia now?
I think it was a reasonably good performance. Always target this ground. I always do well here, so I always look forward to bat here and try to get as much runs as possible. Then I get the chance to bowl, so then it just worked out nicely for me. Good start so far. I have some goals, so I just want to make sure that I get them.
As you prepare to head down south with the conditions, I mean, St. Lucia would probably be favouring the bowling and pace bowling as well as batting. What's your target goal as you head down south, where the conditions, especially in Trinidad and Guyana, may favour more spin?
Well, as you say, St. Lucia is always a good track to me. Played cricket in the Wentworth Islands for a few years, so it was my home ground. I always do well with the bat and the ball there, so it's a good cricket wicket. Looking forward to day 2 as well. Looking forward to get some runs and some wickets if given the chance to bowl again. And then, as you said, we head down to places like Trinidad and Guyana where the ball spins a lot.
So it's just for me to cash in here while the wickets are good for batting, and I just try to make it work when I go down the other places.
Okay, and finally, what's your target as you head down south with the World Cup later down here? What's your major goal to get out of this T20?
Well, the team isn't selected as yet, but hopefully I'm only playing to go to Australia. It's just for me to stay in form, you know. I don't get too ahead of myself, you know. Try to do the basics well. Try to learn as I go on and try to dominate, you know. I've been playing this tournament for a while, and for me, my goal is to do well, to end up in the top 5 batters, you know, to show why I'm playing for West Indies, you know. So that's my goal. I don't really have numbers in my head, but, you know, just to stand out, you know, as a West Indies player in this domestic tournament.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.